Today we're going to get real and talk about how what you do most of the time matters a whole lot more than what you do once in a while.
You're listening to the Wellness Simplified podcast. Simple wellness tips to help you improve your life without turning it upside down. With your host, award-winning fitness instructor, nutrition coach, and wellness expert, Susie Fevens.
We are going to get real here, folks, because there are 61 days left in 2019 if you were listening to this on release day, which is November the 1st. 61 days. That is not a huge amount of time, but it is 1/6 of the year. That is a pretty sizable chunk of the year. I realize that it is a challenging part of the year because right now you're probably still surrounded by Halloween candy. If you are American, you still have Thanksgiving coming up. And then everybody has holiday parties and concerts and gatherings. Christmas, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve. There are a lot of things to navigate in these next 61 days, but that doesn't mean that you throw your baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, and just have a free-for-all for 61 days. What that means is you need to be on point the rest of the time. So if we use the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule, where you stay on track 80% of the time or you stay on track 90% of the time, then you still have 10 to 20% of the time that you can do whatever you want. And that gives you 5 or 10 days over the next 61 where you can just stuff your face with candy and cookies, have 17 servings of pumpkin pie, whatever. There's only so much you can eat in those days. But if you are staying on track the rest of the time, you're going to end up still on the healthier end of things. You're going to leave 2019 healthier than you are right now. The exact same mentality can be used for workouts, for your fitness classes, for your runs, whatever your preferred activity is. There are going to be times in the next 61 days where you cannot attend your regular fitness class, do your regular workout, whatever, because you had to take little, Finley to his Christmas concert, or you had to listen to Greta in her band concert, or you had to go to little Sophie's dance recital. I don't know. There's going to be things that happen. But if you can, again, stick to your regular routine 80 to 90% of the time, not only are you maintaining that habit of exercising, you're going to still keep getting stronger, and you're going to continue to build your metabolism, assuming that you are eating adequately, so that you can have a few more treats over the holidays and not gain as much weight as the people who just give up their exercise routine altogether. That brings me to another point, actually. It's the same, it goes hand in hand. A lot of people will really scale back how much they eat when they know that they're going to be going to holiday parties, so they'll starve themselves all week so they can binge drink all weekend. This is not helping you because your metabolism is very flexible, and if you barely eat anything for a couple of weeks so that you can stuff your gob on Christmas, you're probably going to gain more weight than the person who just ate normally and then enjoyed Christmas, because their metabolism is staying higher. Their body is naturally using more calories to maintain their weight than the person who purposely restricted their calories a whole lot leading up to Christmas and then just went hog wild on Christmas Day. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to be part of the population who can continue to eat normally and then maybe overindulge for a few days over the holidays, but then doesn't gain a whole bunch of weight. Doesn't that sound better than starving yourself for 2 weeks and then shoving all sorts of food in your face and then getting on the scale and find that you've gained 6 pounds, most of which is going to be water weight, but just the same, you don't want to do that. And then we have the people on the other side of the spectrum. So we've already talked about the people who, as soon as things get a little bit tough, their schedule's a little bit crazy, they just don't bother at all. Even the days when they could manage to eat well and exercise, they just don't bother because what's the point? We have the flip side of the scale with the people who are so rigid in their workouts and their eating that they sort of miss out on the holidays because they're afraid to let loose or take a few extra rest days. The same is true for you. You can take those 5 to 10 days off over this next 2-month cycle and enjoy yourself. It's not going to undo the work you've done. It's not going to undo all those workouts, all of those healthy eating meals that you do most of the time. Having gingerbread for supper one night is not going to undo everything else. So moderation really is the key here. You want to eat healthy foods most of the time. You want to do things that is going to help you have a healthy body most of the time. But sometimes in order to have a healthy body, you need to just stop moving for a couple days. And you need to allow yourself to enjoy things. And sometimes those things that you want to enjoy aren't so healthy, and that is okay as long as it is in moderation. And I also would really encourage you to go back and listen to a few episodes ago about taming your inner 5-year-old, because that's where a lot of people get caught up, especially with Halloween candy, when they have leftover Halloween candy and they're just like eating it and they don't even enjoy it anymore. Stop eating it if you're not enjoying it. If you're just eating it because it's there, you need to move it. You need to give it away, get rid of it, put it somewhere else. I don't know. I am fortunate that I'm not somebody who just mindlessly eats things like that usually. And I have a box of candy in my trunk that's been there for 2 months. It's like the little Maynard's Halloween candy, so the fuzzy peaches and Swedish fish and Swedish fish? Anyway, fish, Swedish berries, and Sour Patch Kids. And more than half the box is still there, and I've given a lot of them away because I just forget that they're there. They're in my trunk. I don't go in my trunk all that often. But when I see them, I'm just like, score, I can have a little treat here. So sometimes you don't have to give the things away. You just need to put it somewhere where you're less likely to see it, you're less likely to find it, and you're less likely to eat it. And I know that doesn't work for everybody. There are some people that just truly cannot have these things in their house. And if you are one of those people, you need to bag it up and get it out ASAP. Maybe enjoy a few pieces. You're allowed to have a few pieces. But if you can't control yourself around it, get it away from you so that you're not tempted. What you do most of the time, it matters a whole lot more than what you do once in a while. So if you're eating garbage, highly processed, high in fat, high in sugar, high in salt food most of the time, that one salad you have a week isn't really going to make that big of a difference. If you are sedentary and you go for a walk once every 2 weeks, yeah, that's still helpful, but it's not going to make that big of a difference in the long run. What you do most of the time is so much more than what you do once in a while. So that's what I want you to think about. I'm going to make a little graphic for when I share this on Facebook and Instagram. So if you follow me either of those places, you will hopefully see it. That is a visual of this using emojis, because who doesn't love an emoji showing the difference? Because sometimes, we think if we have a salad or two, like we're good. But if you're filling the rest of the week up with French fries and pizza, you're like not so good. Whereas if you're having mostly salad, and I keep using salad, there's lots of other healthy foods beyond the salad, and you have French fries one day and a slice of pizza another day, that's going to look a whole lot different. And the person who lives that way is going to look a whole lot different than the first. So what you do most of the time matters a whole lot more than what you do once in a while. I want you to adopt that as your mantra for the last 61 days of the year, and let's see if we can end 2019 on a really high note with you feeling good about yourself instead of feeling like garbage because you've been eating garbage for a week straight from December 23rd right to the 31st. So that is our challenge. Thank you so much for listening. Step away from the Halloween candy. Like, I mean it. You've probably already had 5 mini chocolate bars. That's enough for today, guys. It's enough. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you next week.